The tranquility of a sunny afternoon shattered. Sirens wailed, their piercing cries echoing through the stunned streets. A crime, brutal and shocking, had stained the familiar landscape of their lives. Fear, sharp and cold, settled over the community. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. The thin blue line, often unseen, now stood as the last bastion against the encroaching darkness. Detectives, grim-faced and determined, descended upon the scene. Every fiber of their being was focused on one goal: to bring the perpetrator to justice. The weight of the community's expectations rested heavily on their shoulders. They knew that time was not their ally, each passing moment potentially allowing the guilty to slip away. The hunt had begun. The investigation was a labyrinth, a complex web of dead ends and false leads. Each clue seemed to lead to another question, another layer of the mystery. Days turned into nights, the detectives fueled by coffee and a burning desire to bring closure to the victim's family. The weight of their responsibility was immense. Forensic experts meticulously analyzed every piece of evidence, searching for that one irrefutable link. Fingerprints, DNA samples, and ballistic reports held the potential to crack the case wide open. They worked tirelessly, knowing that their findings could be the key to unlocking the truth. The pressure mounted with each passing hour. The media frenzy surrounding the case only added to the tension. The detectives, however, remained laser-focused, their resolve unwavering. They knew that justice delayed was justice denied. They owed it to the victim, to their loved ones, and to the community to bring the perpetrator to justice. A breakthrough, a glimmer of hope in the darkness, a fingerprint, a partial DNA match, a witness finally remembering a crucial detail. The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The investigation, once a meandering journey through a maze of uncertainty, now had a clear direction. The suspect, once a shadow lurking in the periphery of the investigation, was now in sharp focus. Their alibi crumbled under scrutiny. Their movements, meticulously tracked by surveillance footage, placed them at the scene of the crime. The net was closing in. The interrogation was a tense dance, a battle of wits between the investigators and the accused. Every word, every gesture, every micro-expression was analyzed for signs of guilt or deception. The detectives, armed with the weight of the evidence they had painstakingly gathered, pressed their advantage. The truth, they knew, would eventually come to light. The arrest, when it came, was swift and decisive. The suspect, now facing the full weight of the law, was taken into custody. The relief in the air was palpable. The community, for a brief moment, could breathe a collective sigh of relief. But the fight was far from over. The trial was a grueling process, a test of the justice system's ability to deliver a fair and impartial verdict. The prosecution presented its case, laying out the evidence with methodical precision. The defense, as was their right, challenged every point, seeking to sow seeds of doubt in the minds of the jury. The verdict, when it finally came, was met with a mix of emotions: relief, satisfaction, and a profound sense of closure for the victim's family. Disappointment, anger, and a lingering sense of injustice for those who believed the accused was innocent. The system had run its course, but the scars of the crime, both visible and invisible, would remain etched in the fabric of the community. The impact of the crime reverberated far beyond the courtroom walls. Fear, once a fleeting shadow, now lingered in the hearts of many. The streets, once familiar and safe, now seemed fraught with unseen dangers. The sense of security, once taken for granted, had been shattered. Children, once carefree and trusting, now clung to their parents' hands a little tighter. The elderly, once active and engaged in their community, now retreated indoors, seeking refuge from a world that suddenly felt menacing and unpredictable. The crime had left an indelible mark, a stain on the collective psyche of the community. The media, both traditional and social, played a significant role in shaping public perception. News reports, often sensationalized and graphic, amplified the fear and anxiety. Social media platforms buzzed with speculation, rumors, and misinformation, further fueling the sense of unease. The community, once united by shared values and a sense of belonging, now seemed fragmented and suspicious. The conviction, while bringing a sense of closure, did little to heal the wounds inflicted. The victim's family, forever marked by their loss, faced a future forever altered. The pain of their absence was a constant companion, a shadow that followed them wherever they went. The community, too, struggled to come to terms with the aftermath of the crime. The sense of safety and security, once taken for granted, had been irrevocably shattered. The crime had exposed the fragility of their world, the ever-present potential for chaos and violence to erupt in their midst. The justice system, while imperfect, had served its purpose. The perpetrator had been held accountable for their actions, but the true cost of the crime, the human cost, would continue to be felt for years to come. The scars, both visible and invisible, would remain etched in the fabric of the community. The crime, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life, forced the community to confront uncomfortable truths. The belief that it can't happen here, a comforting illusion shattered by the cold reality of violence. The need for vigilance, for a collective responsibility to protect and care for one another, became all too apparent. Community leaders, law enforcement officials, and residents came together to address the root causes of crime and violence. Programs aimed at reducing poverty, providing opportunities for youth, and fostering a sense of belonging were implemented. The healing process, while slow and painful, had begun. The crime, a tragedy that had shaken the community to its core, also served as a catalyst for positive change. The importance of community policing, of building trust and understanding between law enforcement and the people they serve, was recognized as paramount. The community, once fractured by fear and suspicion, began to heal and rebuild. Amidst the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. The community, once divided by fear and suspicion, began to come together. Neighbors, once strangers, now looked out for one another. The shared experience of tragedy had forged a new sense of unity, a determination to create a safer and more resilient community. Support groups formed, offering solace and understanding to those affected by the crime. Therapists and counselors provided guidance and support to individuals and families struggling to cope with the trauma. The community, drawing on its collective strength, began to heal. The crime, a stark reminder of the fragility of life, also underscored the resilience of the human spirit. The community, though wounded, refused to be defined by the tragedy. They chose instead to honor the memory of the victim by working to prevent future tragedies. The crime served as a wake-up call, a stark reminder that no community is immune to the threat of violence. The need for proactive measures, for a multifaceted approach to crime prevention, became abundantly clear. Law enforcement agencies, community organizations, and residents joined forces to create a safer environment for all. Neighborhood watch programs were established, empowering residents to become active participants in crime prevention. Security measures were enhanced in public spaces, creating a visible deterrent to criminal activity. Educational programs aimed at raising awareness about crime prevention strategies were implemented in schools and community centers. The community, recognizing that crime prevention is a shared responsibility, embraced a proactive approach. They understood that by working together, by being vigilant and informed, they could create a safer and more secure environment for themselves and future generations. The fight against crime is a perpetual struggle, a constant battle against those who seek to exploit and harm others. It requires unwavering dedication, a commitment to justice, and the courage to confront those who operate outside the boundaries of the law. Law enforcement officers, often putting their lives on the line, stand as the first line of defense against the forces of chaos and disorder. The courts, tasked with upholding the law and ensuring that justice is served, play a crucial role in maintaining order and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. The correctional system, while often criticized, serves as a deterrent to crime and provides opportunities for rehabilitation and reintegration into society. The fight against crime is a collective effort, requiring the participation of every segment of society. By working together, by supporting law enforcement, by advocating for effective crime prevention strategies, and by fostering a culture of respect for the law, communities can create a safer and more just world for all.